We are live. We collectively are live. So we'll see what happens. See if any of this really works. What am I? I got too many things going. That's the problem. Too many things are happening right now. Too. All right. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. We are on Twitch. We are also on YouTube Live. What's up, Keith? You can't hear any other noise in the background, can you? I got the Red Sox game on in my in the corner here on my screen because today is Patriots Day. Lorraine in the house. Nope, only you. Okay, good. I always worry about that. Like I have other things in the background, and then I accidentally forget to turn off what do you call it? You know what I'm saying. What am I? I don't know what I'm saying. All right. Because it is an 11 a.m. baseball game. Red Sox Tigers, which coincidentally on our first anniversary, our 1 year anniversary, Shelly and I went to Fenway Park on our anniversary, April 18th, and saw the Red Sox on this Patriots Day game. Every year they do the game at 11 a.m. before the Boston Marathon. Which is interesting. So I'm gonna be distracted over here watching the game, but we'll also be talking. So I got the game on Mac right now next to me. Intense moment there for a second with the bases loaded. Chad Hoey in the house as well. I know I'm watching it too, Chad. I also have the game on. I'm like, oh, Patriots Day game. Lorraine says, hi, Chad. I should be finished with a Foster Homes and Flies tonight. Thoroughly into it. Nice. Nice. I watched the. I've actually watched the all of these Red Sox Tigers games now while we were at the casino. I don't gamble, so I just sat. My wife was playing slots. She just plays slots. She was playing slots, and I was sitting in the sports betting area, watching a million games on the screens, but mostly basketball playoffs. So I'm watching. I'm like, why are the big screens all basketball? But I get to watch the. I did get to watch the Red Sox Tiger games the other night. 1-0 in like the 10th. I was like, oh, this is a nail biter, and then not great the next couple games. Chad says, thanks for reading it, Lorraine. Writing the screenplay for it this summer at some point. Chad says, yeah, I haven't missed a game yet, but I will say not a fan of morning games. Yeah. Yeah, luckily this will be it, and only because you're playing the Red Sox. It's exciting. I'm seeing it in my head like a movie right now. It's moving around in our head, screenshots and stuff. 2-1, top of the third. Some good stuff. I came home to a lot of emails. I mean, a lot of garbage emails too. Seems like everybody wants to make my books into movies, or a big five publisher wants to buy my books directly from me and re-release them. So I think I'm doing pretty good so far. I mean, none of it is real, but maybe not at this very moment. I am right now at this very moment. I'm seeing his in my head. Ooh. I had 2 hot dogs and a handful of Doritos for lunch today. I didn't eat a ton. Okay, but I'm gonna get you guys to jump in here, but you cannot listen. I'm just gonna say this. We'll get into some of the stuff that happened this weekend, but one of the things that me and my wife always seem to talk about on long trips is our weight. There's Charlie. Oh yeah, we'll get into it, Charlie. We'll get into it a little bit. One of the things me and my wife always talk about whenever we go on these trips is our weight and the way we eat and exercise and blah blah blah. And she's doing a lot better than I am. She's lost a lot more weight than I have. But we're gonna start. We started this morning. I'm like, okay, we're both gonna weigh, and then we're gonna do a food journal on the counter. We're gonna write. I'm like, I can't do online crap. I can't do it on my phone. I don't remember it. If we put it on the counter in the kitchen, it will always be there. And as we write something, as we eat something, as we whatever, then we just write it in, and that will hopefully help. It helped me in the past, and it's helped her in the past. And then we're going to write our steps every day. Our goal is 6,000 steps a day. So we're going to do all of that, and we started it this morning. So I am going to I'm going to be mentioning it on this thing. Now, I don't want anybody to be a jerk to me because I'm very fragile, and that's not even a joke. I don't want to be bullied. I'm going to have good days. I'm going to have bad days. Hopefully more good days than bad days. But she's like, what do you think you weigh? And I'm like, probably back up to like 360 pounds. But I weighed this morning, I weigh 343.8, which is still crazy too much weight. But I just want to get under 300 pounds and feel better. I got a lot of steps in this weekend, but breathing heavy a lot. Chet says, I set a 40K goal for Nia now by May 1st, putting me at over 2,000 a day, trying to push myself to get it done. Everybody says hi. Over 2,000 a day, Mercy. I'm having trouble reaching 700 a day right now. So I hope you can do it. So that's my goal. So every now and then I will be mentioning my weight. Thank you, Lorraine. Because I'm just grossly obese, and I'm just freaking tired of just being obese. Like, I don't want to get down. I don't want to be like, hey, I'm 180 pounds. I don't want to be like super crazy skinny. I just want to feel better. I just want to. I need to lose like 50 pounds immediately, and I don't mean immediately like in the next month. I just mean that's the goal. So writing food down is going to be good. So like tonight, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cook dinner tonight. I'm going to make chicken cutlets, egg noodles, and corn. But we're going to separate it into, I'm going to make just as much as I normally do. But we're going to separate it into 3 or 4 portions so that my wife can have something to take with her for lunch. And then I can have something for lunch for tomorrow. So we're still going to make the same amount of food because that's all we know how to do. But we're going to immediately cut it and portion it out. So that's going to be That's going to be the goal here, and then not go crazy with snacks and everything else. Luckily, my daughter and her boyfriend was here all weekend, and they ate a lot of snacks. They ate. My daughter would send a message. Hey, can I eat these cookies? I'm like, yes, eat the cookies. Can I eat this cheese and crackers? Eat the cheese and crackers. Keith says, geez, Chad, I only managed 1,100 this morning. Chad will make his goal, and Armand will make his. Positive Monday. Chad Hoey says, you got it. Very sensible plan, Armand. Thank you. The tough ones are going to be like Tuesday. My wife goes to her mom's. She works from her mom's, but she's there till like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And on Thursday. So I'm on my own lunch and dinner. So that's going to be tough. But I think I got it. I think I can do it. I think I'll be fine. Check in on the game real quick. All right. They're still playing. Nobody's been like, yeah, we don't want to do this anymore. So everybody's still good. I got to get through some of these emails. Chat with you peeps. As us young kids say. Come on, what are we doing? All right. But we had a very good weekend. We had a good 11th anniversary weekend. Just gonna say no to distractions like video games and YouTube. There is no reason why I can't make the 40. Exactly. You need to. I see what I do with that is like I'm like I need 2,000 words a day, and I will play Minecraft once I hit my 2,000 words. And a lot of times I'm like, you know what? If I could do 2,200 today, I can get ahead a little bit. What's up, Cat? So that's like one of my things is I do want to be rewarded like a child by going, you know what? I'm going to get another piece of candy, which is probably why I'm so fat. But I got to do my words here. Everybody's so positive today. So let me tell you my weekend. I'm going to tell you my week. I'm going to tell you the whole weekend. We're going to talk. This is also for the people who don't watch this live, but watch it later on. A couple people had already messaged and said, how was the weekend? Are you going to talk about it on Monday? Yes, I am talking about it. I just realized, Chad Hoey, you are on Twitch. Thank you for being on Twitch. Everybody else is on YouTube Live. So that's why I'm reading all of the things. I'm like, oh, you guys can't interact. Just letting you know. Thanks for being on. Hopefully you hit the subscribe button on Twitch for me, because I do this every Monday. Every Monday I'm live on Twitch and YouTube. And let me look real quick, because I really haven't looked. I was not on all weekend. I broke 78,000 subscribers, which is insane. That is insane to me. I've only managed 1,100 this morning, Keith, but I've got the rest of the day to squeeze in another 900 or so. Exactly. After we talk and after the game, then the sky's the limit at that point. We started out our day Friday morning, 10 a.m. out the door. We go to. I'm like, I need coffee, but you know what? I had a cup of coffee in the morning. I did my coffee of the day video, and I'm like, do I want another cup of coffee? I'm like, you know what? I don't. What I do want is breakfast burritos from McDonald's, though. Yeah, I know. 78. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. I gained a lot over the weekend as well. I think I was under 70 on Friday. I took the laptop. I did not write at all this weekend. I did not look at anything. That is nuts. I was just like, you know what? We're just going to enjoy the weekend. We go. I get a couple of what do you call it? Breakfast burritos at McDonald's, right? And and then I get I say make sure you put the mild picante sauce in there. I do like my breakfast burritos with some picante sauce. So they okay. So we get to the second window. I look in the back. There's no picante sauce. I say get some picante sauce. So she hands me two picante sauces, and then we start to move, and I'm like, this is not our order. No wonder the lady looked at us confused. So then we pull up, but there's another car already sitting there. But that car is not waiting for an order. They're just a lazy jerk who's parked where you're not supposed to park, like right past the drive-through lane, right there, because they had to go inside for something. Very, very, very mad. And then so we pull up, but we're in a pickup truck. We're in an F-150. It's red, by the way. And Shelly runs inside. And then this other guy gets his order behind us. And then he starts beeping his horn. So I'm at first I'm just waving go around. But I realize he probably can't because the person in front of us, we've pulled right up to them. They can't. So now he's beeping his horn. I'm like, this is how we start in our vacation. I'm gonna get out and beat this guy to death. I was really, really mad. And then I don't know, yeah. And then he goes real slow by and he's looking at me, and I'm like, what? And then he just kept going. But I think he looked at me and realized, oh, this guy would probably kill me. He's like, oh, this guy's pushing 360 pounds. This guy will eat me for breakfast after he has his breakfast burritos. Chet says, good for you to completely cutting out this other world to fully celebrate your anniversary and be present. Yeah, we did not really talk too much about either of our work, our problems, family, anything. We just enjoyed. Lorraine says, it's more interesting to watch the number go up than watching the rocket capsule return from the moon about a week ago. Charlie also agrees with picante sauce. The good part about that was then I took the two picante sauce. She brought the order in. I was hoping it was the guy behind us, but it wasn't. I was like, oh, good. Maybe he got our order instead. And he doesn't like breakfast burritos, although I don't know if that's even a thing. But then when my wife went inside, the lady was like, looking at the lady in the dress, was like, yeah, you got the wrong order, right? And then she put the picante sauce. So I got two extra picante sauce, which I kept. And now I have, in my drawer, I have two picante sauce. So anytime I want picante sauce, it's literally just there. Yeah, when we went to Mars, I remember we all went to Mars. Chad's right. My husband would never be able to stop talking about work. Well, that was, my wife is a lot worse, I think, than me. And again, she's a commercial property manager. So she'll be like, oh, the tenant in D57 says, and she's like talking all this technical jargon. And she's like, yeah, well, and then we had to look at the rent roll. And I always go, rent roll, like Scooby-Doo. And she doesn't think that's funny. But we were good. I mean, it's like a 6-hour drive there once you stop for gas and bathroom breaks and stuff. But it was, it's I-10. It's like probably the worst road in the world to drive. It's just a lot of nothing. But we get there Friday night, and then you lose the hour. The time changed, so we get there at 4:00 or 5:00, whatever it was. Which always throws me. The time difference always throws me. Because I'm like, why am I hungry? Yeah, I-10 is ridiculous. Why am I so hungry? Oh, because it's really 9:00 in our part of the world, that kind of thing. So, but then again, we were at the Palace Casino Hotel. So we get free rooms for the weekend, and we got 2 free buffets. So Friday night we did the buffet because I had breakfast burritos like 6 or 7 hours before. I think it was like 7 o'clock. We finally went down to the buffet, and it's huge. I mean, it's not a Vegas buffet, but it's pretty big, and they have a section just seafood. And man, I filled a plate with seafood. It was delicious. And then I went back and I hit a little bit here and here. And I must really like you. I just watched a commercial for an AI detector software. You must like me. Keith, I know you've always liked me. We've been friends forever. Buffet was good. Then I went and watched some baseball. My wife did some gambling. There goes my algorithm. And then, so the casino, that particular casino closes at 3 a.m. They're closed from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. for cleanup and stuff, and then it reopens. So my wife's like, if I'm doing well, if I'm having fun, I'll come back and grab the car keys and I'll go to another casino. Otherwise, I'll probably be back by 3. So she came back at like 3 o'clock. She's like, I lost. It was good. And what's good about that is it's a smoke-free casino. No smoking, which is great. Every now and then you see some douche who's got his vape and he's hitting it and that kind of thing. That's annoying. 3 a.m. I'm woken up because there's people talking in the hallway. Our room we're on the 8th floor, but our room was close enough to the elevators. And so there's people there, obviously drunk. The lady is this hyena laugh. They're all talking really loud at the elevator. So I'm literally getting out of bed. So I'm going to go to the door in my underwear and open the door and yell, "Shut the fuck up!" And all of a sudden, the lights start, emergency lights start flickering, and we get the announcement: everybody, please evacuate the casino. It's not a drill. There's a fire. Over and over. My wife's like, she had been asleep for like 10 minutes at that point. She's like, what? So throw some clothes on. And we follow everybody. We go out. We're outside. We're near the pool area. It was actually really nice out. So that was no big deal, except it's like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And then there's about 100 people where we are standing around and a couple of security guards. And the people are just bitching. When are we going to be able to go back inside? This is ridiculous. I don't see a fire. I'm looking up at the building. Where's a fire? Shut up. So just complaint after complaint after complaint. So now we're out there for like half an hour, 45 minutes. And again, it's a huge hotel. You got to go through and you do your due diligence. And Shelly does this for a living. You know what I mean? So she knows what the routine is when, in her buildings. And she knows when the fire drills, she knows what has to happen. You have to clear the whole building first, on and on. So at that point, though, it's like 45 minutes later, I got to go to the bathroom. You know me. I mean, you've been here where I just had to, I got to go to the bathroom. So I go over to the security guard, and you can just tell, and he's like a young guy. I kept calling him, not to his face, I kept calling him Paul Blarth. I went real nice. I don't. My wife has to do everything for me. And she went up and real nice. She says, "Excuse me, I know we're what's going on, but my husband really has to go to the bathroom. Is there a bathroom like nearby you can take us to?" And he was like, yeah, sure, okay. So he brings us inside to a bathroom. It's like the employee underground. We're in the underground of the hotel. I go to the bathroom. When I come out, we start to walk to outside, and then we hear on the radio somebody pulled at 3 a.m. Basically, it was a disgruntled person who he was winning in the casino, didn't like that the casino was closing at 3 a.m. So on his way out the door, he pulled the fire alarm. This is an adult. So that's why we're all standing outside. But then luckily the guy's like, "Hey, just wait here. This is the service elevator. And when somebody comes down, I'll call it in and just, you don't have to go back outside. So we went back to our room. And then I lay there for a while and I didn't hear anybody. I didn't hear the other elevators because, of course, when that happened with the shutdown, all the elevators are shut down. So now they didn't have a key. And my wife's like, you know what? If I had brought my other pocketbook, I would have had an elevator key. I could have turned the elevators on for them. So that was Friday. That was my Friday. Saturday, we get up early. Again, the time thing just really throws me. It's gorgeous outside. Right outside my window is the river. And there's a very long fishing pier where all the people are on the fishing pier. There's giant boats out there. And then we go back down to the casino floor because there's a breakfast place. And again, free food all weekend if we're in the casino. So I get what did I get? Oh, I got a Philly cheesesteak omelet, which was delicious, and my wife got something else. I don't remember. We have some breakfast. We go slip into our swim trunks. I get my swim fins. I have a giant rubber duck. We go to the pool. And there are, of course, anytime you go to Pool Nowhere, there's always 2 kids screaming the entire time. And they're having a great time. I get it. But I'm old and I don't want to just listen to them scream. I'm trying to read my book. So all weekend, I just started Thursday night, I read a couple chapters. And I ended up finishing this book Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Jill Is Not Happy, a thriller by Kyra Ruda. I'll be doing a book review of this afternoon. I'm also going to be interviewing her in a couple weeks as part of the lit chat thing for the library. I was invited to be the interviewer, so that's kind of cool. Let's take a second because Keith posted, you may have missed this call this weekend. Cat Eye Press announced a call for Don't Go for the Vault, a bank robbery horror anthology center on high stakes robberies and terrifying. Yeah, I saw I got an email, which is just basically flagged at this point. I did see that though. Thank you, Keith. I don't know the specifics of it, but I will probably look at it later this afternoon. So we're at the pool, and there is and I know there's a lady present, and also Lorraine is also a lady present. She was obviously the grandmother. She had to be in her mid-60s, and I don't know what. So of course, as a writer, you automatically, I say to my wife, "Oh, that's got to be like her 4th or 5th husband." And he was slightly younger. He's probably early 50s. She's definitely like 65. Blonde hair. I mean, massive, massive fake boobs. You could see she had a tummy tuck. She had a facelift. I mean, she looked good for her age, but none of it was real. She's wearing a little 2-piece with her bottoms jammed up her butt crack. She looked good for an old lady. I hope I look that good. I hope I can wear a 2-piece when I'm her age. And those are her grandkids. And then her daughter, obviously, is sitting off to the side, and she's a little chunky, okay? Very pretty girl. But she's got she's wearing like a moo-moo. Like, she just does not want anybody to look at any part of her body. She does not want sunshine at all. She's just sitting there, just away from everybody on her phone. And then every now and then she looks up and she says something or yells at one of the kids. So, what was the kid's name? The boy's name was Chaston, I believe. I wish my wife was on right now. I believe the boy's name was Chaston, and the girl was Kennedy. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. And then I'm going to guess her son comes down, and he is this. So the daughter looks like she's like almost 40. Oh, no, she's like in her mid-40s. So I'm sure mom popped her out when she was like 16. Just seems like that kind of family. And then the sun comes down. Yeah, soap opera names, exactly. She does sound like a wonderful woman, Charlie, you're right. So then the sun comes. So the sun is all tatted up. Okay. He's got his super cool sunglasses, giant sunglasses on, his hat on backwards, but then off to the side. And he's got to be in his late 30s. You know, he's got the little goatee. So he thinks he looks super cool. And he brings one of his little his son down. And now we got 3 kids screaming in the pool. And then his wife is also a little chunky. Again, very cute. But she's also big t-shirt. She's got long shorts on. Like, she does not want sun either. And they sit down, and then the grandma immediately gets up and goes and sits somewhere else to get sun. I'm like, oh, she don't even want to be around the daughter-in-law. Like, she wants none of this. So we did all that, and then of course, grandma kept coming over closest to where we were sitting, going down the steps, but she would stand at the top of the steps and she would bend down and splash water on her boobs. And then Shelly laughed. She's like, are you enjoying the show she's obviously giving you? I said, yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. She just kept watching every other guy who was walking around out there. Chastain is Ridge and Thorn Forrester's strange cousin. Yeah. Yeah, it was something weird like that. I can't remember what the name. It wasn't even Chastain, it was like Chastin. Like, I'm like, did they say Ashton? And no, it's a Chastin. Like, Chastain would make more sense. That's a name at least I've heard. But anyway, we did that for a couple hours. So I read this book and really, really liked it. Last week, someone posted a review for one of my books that is essentially a condensed reading of the whole book. 96,000 views, only 700 comments on how great the book was. No link to buy it. Yeah, that's not. You should have added the link. Hey, if you want to buy the book, here's the link. But so then we went back to the room. I said, my wife, go play the one-armed bandit for a while. I'm gonna relax. And then she left for like an hour, came back, and she was like, oh no, she didn't go. That's right. She was like, no, I'm just gonna relax. And then she's like, I'm gonna take my shower. She took her shower. I took mine. I finished the book Saturday afternoon, and it was like 3:00. And I'm like, she's like, what do you want to do? I said, you know, I want to watch the Red Sox Tigers game. So we went down there. They essentially made their own audiobook and oh yeah, you gotta stop that crap. That's ridiculous. And once the Red Sox lose, then we went back to the room, got dressed. Then we went to Scarlett's. We went to the other casino we used to go to all the time, the Scarlet Pearl. And that we realized when we got it, I'm like, you know why I always hated this? The place is great. The food selection is amazing. They have several restaurants. They have a buffet. They have a pizza place. They have a coffee shop. Desserts are killer, but it's a smoking casino. So literally, you immediately walk in the casino and you just start choking. We went to Scarlett's. My wife had the Delmonico steak, which is literally, she just ran the knife through it and it just split. It was just so friggin', it literally melts on your mouth. They did not have the Chilean sea bass. But that's fine because the special was the pan-seared flounder, which was so freaking good. I just put some lemon on it. That's all it needed. I didn't use any of this, some kind of sauce. I'm like, I don't like that. Nah, that's a condiment. I am not eating that. And a giant the baked potato was like this freaking big. No dessert. Like I'm not getting dessert. We had a good time. Back to the room, got changed, lay down. Then I finished reading the book. My wife went and gambled till 3 a.m., came back, did not win. And I'm like, you're not going to go to another casino? A lot of times the second night, she'll go to another casino if she's not having fun here. But she's like, no, every other casino, the ones that I like, they're all smoking. And I realized how much I hated that. Because after dinner, we stayed for a little bit at that Scarlet Pearl, and I watched baseball. Or tried to watch baseball, but all they had was on a tiny screen, and it was MLB Network, and it was the four, like they'll do like 4 games at once on, so the screen was way too tiny and the screens were way too far, and basketball playoffs. So all I heard was the friggin' Laker game or whatever. I don't care about any of that. Lorraine says, "Oh my word, a reading of it so much for having copyright. I'm sorry, Chad. I won't be following that example with you or anyone's work." Yeah, the videos, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I do takedowns on YouTube all the time like that. I had somebody who literally, my legitimate audiobooks, they just basically posted all of them and had a lot of people apparently listening to them. I'm like, why don't you buy the darn things? That's crazy. Then we got up early Sunday morning. We were like, if we leave by 10, we got up we were like 9 o'clock, we were out the door. And then I'm like, I need coffee. I need to do my coffee of the day video, but I also just need to drink a cup of coffee. And then we're in Mississippi. We start driving and we find this. I'm like, hey, there's a donut place. They got to have coffee. So we go in. The donuts look awesome. The apple fritter was like this big. We each got an apple fritter. I got a glazed donut. This was before we had the conversation about we're fat and we need to lose weight. So we were still good at this point. And they had like a pot of coffee, and God knows how long it had been sitting there, and there was only a little bit left in it. And I'm like, let's find another coffee place. But we're going to get all these snacks. And they were delicious. Then we found one of those little drive-through little coffee places with the cool hipster inside. But the coffee was very good. I ordered a large, and the large was like this big. I was like, this is a giant cup of coffee. And then we drove home. Then we had many conversations about many things. And then she dropped me off. She went and picked up Alice, our dog, Tom and Jess. Came back. I put all the luggage away. Put all the clothes in the dirty clothes thing. Put all of our deodorants and whatnot away. I was actually very good. And then she got a bunch of phone calls from people for work and not work. So, but then we watched a couple of shows. We watched a couple episodes of Filthy Fortunes, the Hoarder show, which is good. And then I'm like, hey, I'm going to bed because I don't sleep well when I'm not here. So I went to, I was like, 11 o'clock, I'm going to bed. Yes, talk more about the apple fritter, Armand. Let me live vicariously through your experience with one of my favorite pastries I could no longer have. You can't have apple. Why are we even living if we can't eat apple fritters? Apple, here's the thing. Like, I love apple fritters, right? But I never thought about it. But back in 2019, October of 2019, when I did a month of Dunkin' book, I had one of the apple fritters from Dunkin' because I picked a different drink or food every time I went somewhere to a different Dunkin'. And I was like, man, I love these apple fritters. And then gluten hates me, and so does that. Yeah, that's not good. I literally didn't eat the whole thing in one shot. I ate like half of it. I'm like, I am full. I'm gonna just save this for later on when we get home, which I ate. But and then Amanda Ward, when she would come every month for once a month for writing, hang out. She always stops at Dunkin'. She always gets me a large hot coffee, Britney Spears, which is 5 cream, 5 sugar. And she would always bring us apple fritters. And then at one point I was like, I got to lose weight. So she stopped. And I wish she had not stopped. But eating that, I'm like, man, that was just so good. So, in fact, this morning I said to my wife, hey, do we have egg noodles? She's like, I don't think we do. I think I use them. I'm like, all right, I'll go. I'm gonna go get egg noodles in the morning before I go on YouTube Live. But I'm thinking, I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna go get egg noodles because then I'm gonna go to Winn Dixie, and because they have some pretty big apple fritters. But then we had egg noodles, and I'm like, that's God's way of saying to me, hey, fat ass, you're not going to get apple fritters. So I didn't have to leave. Right, says when I back to college in my mid 20s, I lived off of honey buns and Mountain Dew for dinner during my night classes. Yeah, which is great at the time, right? But then later on, you're like, why did I do that? Now that would make me sick. The thought of it is making me right. Yeah, like last night. So she gets home with the dog and everything, and she's like, the house is clean. And my daughter and her boyfriend like ate a lot of food, which is great. We got a ton of food in this house. But I'm like, well, they left. We bought them hot dogs. We bought them hamburgers. And we bought the giant pack of hot dogs. And there's 2 hot dogs left. And I'm like, whatever. There's Frank. Okay, I'm here finally because I'm a good subscriber and watch all the commercials and everything. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. And so then she's like, let's just DoorDash something. And then we're like, we'll do Taco Bell. But then when she started putting, she's like, how much this is going to cost? Like, this is going to cost like $35 for our order, which is not even a big order. I'm like, we could get in the car. She's like, I'm in my pajamas. I'm like, you're in a covering thing. Who cares? Tie ball game. Sons of. Plenty of game left. So then we just went and we saved like $15 by getting it ourselves. Lots of noise out there. So that was my weekend. A good weekend. That was we realized looking through posts on Facebook, that was our third anniversary that we've eaten there. So I guess we like it. The other 2 times though, I did have the Chilean sea bass. And I also looked at the alcohol menu and I'm like, hey, JJ, that was our waiter, JJ. He looked like the guy, what's his name, who says Aaron and all that. That's what he looked like. But I said, you used to have a drink. You had a drink that was peach, sweet tea, bourbon, and something or other else. And like, yeah, we changed the menu. I'm like, oh, that's what I wanted to drink. Like, I'll just drink water. And he's like, let me check with the bartender. And he's like, yeah, Key and Peele, that guy. Yeah. Not the Peel guy, the unpeeled guy. And then and he talked like him too. And he's very rapid fire talking. He also forgot our bread. Like, do we get bread? I see everybody else get bread. Oh, yeah. And then he came back. He's like, all right, so here's our options for dessert. I'm like, we haven't even gotten our food yet. Oh, okay. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What are you snorting back there? But the bartender did make my drink, so I was happy about that. All right, says Frank, I found your YouTube channel a couple days ago. Peppers, is it a closed channel now? Did you close your channel off? Oh. But anyway, I had the 2 hot dogs for lunch today and some Doritos that my daughter actually didn't eat. As in no longer posting content? I didn't even know Frank even had a channel. See how much I know. Lorraine, you're too much of a lady for me to believe that. So I got obviously a lot of emails. I kind of went through some of it on my phone over the weekend, but no writing. I got it set up, but I think tomorrow I'll start writing again. Believe what? Did I miss something again? Frank says it's not closed. It's just waiting for me to step up and create content. Yeah, create some content. How was Yankee Stadium, Frank? I've never been. I don't think I've ever been to the new. Well, I guess it's not that new, but I've never been to that stadium. Was the guy insubordinate and churlish? Churlish. My wife said to me on Friday, she said something. She's like, "Are you going to be sullen all weekend?" And I laughed. I said, "Sullen?" She goes, "Yeah, you're going to be sullen all weekend." I said, "No, no, I'm in a good mood. No, I'm in a good mood. We're gonna do stuff." Believe it or not, that was my first time in the new Yankee Stadium. New, yeah. I bet it was nice. I mean, listen, I hate the Yankees, but I still enjoy a good stadium experience. It's from the A. Ron skit. I barely remember that. Went looking since I want to see who I'm talking to here. Huh. And now you're in love. You saw Mr. Frank, and your whole life changed, Lorraine. I get it. It changed for me too. And then we're walking around the casino, and some dude's got some shirt on the back of the shirt. It says "Sullen" really big. I thought that was funny. I'm like, that can't be a coincidence, right? Can't be. It is a gorgeous park, but it's not the house that Root built. Yeah, yeah. I would imagine it loses. It's got to lose something, right? Listen, the worst. I'm just going to say this: the worst stadium I've ever been in, Wrigley Field. It's tight. It's cramped. There's not all great sight lines. Fans weren't really nice. The whole experience. It was rainy that day. Me and my dad went. Probably the worst stadium I've ever been to. One of the nicest stadiums I've ever been to was in Cleveland. That's a great stadium. Listen, I've been to Fenway 10 years ago, as a matter of fact. Um, Me and my wife went. That was our first anniversary. Also, the Trop for Tampa Bay is also a really bad stadium. It's just nothing, just lifeless. There's hardly any fans there except for the other team. I'm sure you had a great time. In case you can't hear, that's Neil out there yelling at Ed, Lawnmower Man. What about in Hot Atlanta? My wife hates that. My wife absolutely, one of the people that she works with, because she has properties in Atlanta. She has no properties in Jacksonville anymore, but in Atlanta and Memphis and a bunch of other places, Minnesota, Kansas City. But Atlanta is most of her properties, and they say Hot Atlanta, and she hates that. That's a nice stadium. We also got spoiled because the people who do the grounds, the landscaping in that area for the stadium and all the bar, all that stuff, was one of her. She used them for her properties, so we got free game tickets, and we got like the VIP package with the all you can eat buffet and hanging out with it, former Braves players walking around and stuff. We took Chuck one year, and man, that was great. I mean, Chuck was like, I don't know what they do with these carrots, but I love these carrots and these Cuban sandwiches. He just kept going back, and it's the buffet's all game. It's not like before the game you can eat. It's like all game. Great seats behind home plate. They give you ice cream, and you need another drink. You need another drink. So that was fun. So that's. I think we went one time where we sat with the commoners for a Braves game, but that's a nice stadium. Not bad at all. Chess has never actually been to Fenway, but not a fan of it. I don't like the monster. It's scary. I get it. It's scary for you. Frank says it was a fantastic day for baseball, made better by the fact that they slaughtered the Royals. It's the Royals. Calm down. What? You don't like the monster, Chad? Fair enough. I don't either. Does anyone like that goofy thing? There are some stadiums I've never been to that I want to. I was lucky when I did that trip with my dad several years ago. Again, he's a Tigers fan, so we went to Detroit and we were. I set up the tour, so we were in Detroit on his birthday, and then we did the stadium tour in the morning. And the lady kept throwing out trivia stuff. Why did they bring the fences in? Blah blah blah. And he's like, Juan Gonzalez, and he's just like throwing out names of people. Who's that? Al Kaline. Okay. So, but we did that. Was great, and Justin Verlander pitched and won that night. And that was the game. I was like, I'm getting the best seats. Like I got like right behind the dugout on that game. The rest of them, I'm like, I don't care. We just get some nosebleed tickets just to get in the stadium and wander around and stuff. You're supposed to say, riddle me this. Riddle me this. What is it with the Red Sox not sticking with a color combo? First night they wore all green, then bright yellow and baby blue, and now another. I absolutely hate the bright yellow. It looks like a softball team. I hate that color scheme. They should have never done that. And I'm not a fan of that. The green is all right, but not great. Just give me the normal uniform. You know what I'm saying? Just give me the home whites and the road grays, Red Sox or Boston on it. I mean, just ridiculous. Absolutely. I hate it. It's all about money. All about let's try to do 47 alternate uniforms so we can all make money. Lorraine says, I sat and sweated and never, ever want to go back. Frank says, I also wandered into the middle of a pro-Palestinian protest in Herald Square after the game. That was a hoot. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, they have red in their name, right? Those yellow uniforms, though, when they started with those a couple years ago, I was like, that can't really be their uniform. They can't really be wearing that yellow. $50 for a plain Jane New Era Yankees hat. I'm sure. That's why you got to get the $10 one from the scalpers that are made out of cardboard. It's like those old white painter's caps from the 80s. Then somebody scribbles Yankees and misspells it on it. $10. I can only imagine how much everything is now. One of the things we talked about, we got into this conversation on the ride back. I'm a big fan of the comedian Jimmy Carr. Lorraine, it's a little bit. He's a little bit too raunchy for you. Don't watch Jimmy Carr. Hysterical guy. But one of the things he says, he likes hecklers. So somebody shouts out and says, "What do you do with all your money?" And he says, "I spend it on experiences, not things." And I thought that was a pretty obvious, but a pretty good line. You know what I'm saying? Chess says, the painter's cap you get at the county fair. I had an ACDs and yeah, right. Seaside Heights, they would have them. Thanks for the warning. Yeah, don't watch Jimmy Carr. He's the British dude in a suit, but he says some really, really raunchy sexual things. I'm sure Frank loves him. I'm sure Frank's his friend. Frank's just like to experience things. But I said that to Shelly, and she was like, right. So she's like, once, and we weren't being morbid, but like, listen, her mother has Alzheimer's, right? She's gonna be 79 years old. Her aunt has a lot of medical issues, cancer several times. Her other aunt is starting to lose her memory. She's 94 now. So at some point, these people will not be with us. All right. And we'll have money. Okay. We're not wishing anybody to be unalived. But it's just a simple reality of it. And so we kind of just had that conversation of what we do. Because we're going to get her mother's and her aunt's house. My wife will get, and her sister will get half of the parents' house. And her other aunt she's super rich, so we're probably going to get a giant chunk of money. Okay. Love the lady to death. She loves me to death, obviously, but she's not going to live to be 120 years old, probably. And so, we're like, what are we going to do? You know, at that point, what are we going to do? And my wife's like, I want to work till I'm 60, 10 more years. I want to work. And then we'll kind of figure it out from there where we are financially, blah, blah, blah. But I guess the goal is to experience things. So she's like, you know what we're going to do? In 10 years, we're going to get an RV. Or she's like, look this up. How much does it cost to rent a tour bus with a driver for a month? It's a lot of us, like two grand a day or something. It's a lot of money. Chad says, I'd say Jimmy Carr's stint as Kiss a Drummer was an experience. He just, you know what? Gene didn't like all the profanity. That was so funny. It hurt when I slapped my knee. Don't hurt me. I got a mark where I guess I didn't spray on my kneecap, and it hurts. I can't picture being comfortable living in an RV. Yeah, that's going to be the problem with it. That's where we're like, you know, we're going to get we're going to get a tour bus. We'll have enough money. We're going to do like a month. We're going to have a driver, so we don't have to worry about it, and we're just going to go. Yeah, you can't love it. You can't loving an RV. I mean, you could try. So that's going to be the goal. And we just got to kind of list the places we've never been that we want to go see. Chess says, I've totally been comforting loving in an RV. Matter of fact, I've done it. There's a lady present. And so I was like, yeah, we could do that. The problem is I'll be like in my mid 60s then. I'll be collecting Social Security if it still exists. Still be writing these awful things. Set up all cameras in it for my 2-hour YouTube live. At that point, I'll have 8 billion followers. Loving an RV, living it up while going down the road. Exactly. It's like the song "Love on an Escalator." You know, it's the same concept. So that's what we're supposedly gonna do. We're gonna travel around. We'll be like, hey Frank, we're gonna be at White Castle tonight. So if you want to meet us, wait, you're going to get a driver and just share your golden years with this person. I'm out. Chad, we didn't invite you. I don't know where you got the idea that you were invited on this road trip. Yeah, we don't want to drive. I was like, we just get some hot blonde to drive us around. I was like, we're going to get some old guy. You might be older, but you'll have so much money you'll be able to afford to pay someone else to love in your RV. Yeah, that's true. We can just watch. The tour bus idea is awesome. I'll head down to Florida and hide in the storage bin to hitch a ride. Well, we could swing by. We'll swing by Athens and just pick you up. Just meet us near the highway, whatever the closest highway is. We'll just, I'll just, hey, pull over. That's Lorraine. Pull over. Pull over. We're picking her up. I believe you'd buy an RV to drive to White Castle, New Jersey. 100%. You know, like you see all those stories like rich people. Oh, we flew to Paris because I wanted the perfect caviar, blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, you know what? We're driving. Although here's the thing, we got White Castles now in Florida, so it's kind of like the Buc-ee's thing. Buc-ee's was like, oh my god, this is great. Like when we're heading to Biloxi Friday, I'm like, yeah, why stop? Because we have like 3 of them near us now. So get rid of the stranger driver, and I'm driving them back. Chad, you're not invited. In fact, we're not going to come. We're not coming anywhere near you in Detroit now. We're going to be like, you know what? We can't go there. Oh, let's just skip Michigan completely. Mish, whatever we call it. Let's go right to Wisco. That person will be like, I said, you know what? And then we can go to amusement parks, and that person can ride with us on the log flume. So yeah, so that's the goal. I mean, if my wife doesn't divorce me before then. I mean, this now 11 years. This now is my longest marriage. So the Everywhere But Michigan World Tour. We're calling it the 49 states tour. 49 states and Canada tour. One of the things I want to do, and my wife's agreeable, is spring training, but in Arizona. That's the thing my dad always wanted to do. And all the stadiums are so close to each other. Plus Guam. Well, yeah, you got to go to Guam. And Guantanamo Bay. I think that's how you say it. Just to see who's still there. Who else is hanging out? You got to watch with Guam, though. I mean, there's certain seasons. You know, monsoon season is you don't want to drive a tour bus to Guam. You know, I don't think that's the way to. I don't think that's really the way to go. I'll hold you to it, Armand. Just bring me back before midnight. Or maybe I'll turn into a pumpkin. Yeah. I'll be like, come on, Lorraine, hurry up and get in. We're going to the apple fritter festival. Nothing but apple fritters. They do have gluten-free apple fritters. I won't eat any of that garbage, but you can. That'd be a good trip. Yeah, it'd be one of those. Yeah, let's go visit food, and if anybody's around, they can come hang out. I would go up to Jersey though, be like Keyport Fishery. We got to go to Rutt's Hut. Let's go get some real pizza in New York. I think we should be driving in Manhattan though, not a tour bus. And then we can put cool things on the front of the tour bus. Bon Jovi World Tour. People will think that I'm Bon Jovi. Frank, did you see the Ted Poley comments about Sebastian Bach from the rock and roll hard rock cruise from last week? Or the comments from the drummer that I don't even think is in Skid Row anymore, talking about why Sebastian will never be back in the band. Got to pay congestion tolls to drive in the city anymore. So Paulie was like, "Don't mind me." Well, because he basically was talking about what an ass Sebastian Bach was to him and his family, and how he was just a jerk the whole cruise, and he's basically what a piece of garbage he is, and no wonder Skid Row doesn't want. He went on and on and on, and then he deleted everything. Which Skid Row drummer, a Fuso or the porn guy? Not Rob, the other guy. I don't remember. Vavone, something with a V in it or somewhere. Porn guy? I didn't know he was a porn guy. Phil Varone. Him, Phil Varone. Yeah, Phil Varone. Oh, I had no idea he was the founding and current member of the rock band Saigon Kick. He played for Prunella Scales, Skid Row, and Vince Neil. Man, that first Saigon Kick album is just killer. Killer. What are you doing? People are getting books. But he's talking like he's like, oh yeah, they don't want him in the band, and they don't want Rob back in the band either, because the way that the way he left, blah 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 blah. He was in sex rehab with Dr. Drew. Yeah, so he's basically been just talking about him enjoying sex. He has his own line of sex toys with California exotic novelties, including the first ever rock star mold and pierced D word. I won't say what it is. Yeah. Watch Phil Ferrone have a threesome with a couple of hot groupies in it. Groupies 2 on now. Well, I didn't see Groupies 1, so I don't even know how he got the 2 girls on this one. That's funny. Watch Phil Verone in Big Bear with Phil Verone. That's funny. My Google is going to be flagged for looking at porn. Someone see this conversation, right? Groupies 1 was just that was just the setup. That was really a lot of the dialogue came from that one to set up the second one. That does make sense. Ah, Phil. But in the comments section on when he was talking, the comments section was like, "Who the f is this guy? When was he in Skid Row? Oh, when they were playing state fairs. And what is this guy? This guy doesn't have a vote. He's not even in the band anymore." I did like some Saigon Kick though. That was a good band. But that's just that first album, and then the singer was like, "I could do this on my own. I don't need you guys." And then nobody ever heard. Ah, Phil. I think he does the feed Phil thing now. That might be a different. That might be a different one. He wasn't even in the band the same time as Bach, so keep his name out of your mouth. Yeah, exactly. I mean, who are you? Oh, Chad. But his thing is like, is like I have it on authority that Snake is, Snake and Rachel. I don't know how to save a chat. I just have to cover my ears and say, "Oh, exactly." Frank, I haven't watched somebody feed Phil. I haven't watched like probably 2 seasons now. I imagine. I can't wait to see Lorraine's hype video on this stream. Yeah. Remember that video where I put him on the top of my dry erase board? We're going to watch as I erase this. Remember I talked about the guy who he would write words and stuff, talk about that's, yeah. Lorraine is going to be like, I take back everything I said. Yeah. Let's talk about my YouTube algorithm and how it keeps recommending 80s metal bands I've never heard of, like Steeler. Steeler, you never heard of Steeler? Yngwie Malmsteen, Ron Keel, Hawk, Victim, Phantom, and Wolf. Those just sound like dumb names, right? Hype video. Yeah, hype video. You hyped us all up. And then we disappoint you. Now that you put that la la la, I keep in my head now. I'm going la 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 la. Oh baby, it's a wild world. But Chad, that's what you guys do here. Yeah, but Chad doesn't like anything that we like. He likes garbage stuff. Circus of Power, Jet Boy. I loved me some Jet Boy. I saw them in concert several times, opening for Kicks. These emails just don't stop. That's what we do need a Jet Boy documentary, right? Playing, I'm sure they have the part where the Razzle from Hanoi Rocks gets killed by Vince Neil, and then they start fighting with Motley Crue, and then they fight with Guns N' Roses. That singer was born in Lodi, New Jersey. Then they're like, "Hey, we need a new bass player. Let's ask the dude from Hanoi Rocks if he wants to do it." Or he says, "Okay, I do actually know some of the bands you guys talk about." Frank says, "Quick, get Ad to write and narrate one." There's actually a different band called Steeler. Well, shoot, we'll link a different band. How many Steelers is this world supposed to have? Steeler Panther. That's probably what. Yeah, that's probably what he's talking about. No, Steeler Panther. Oh, good times. It's like as quick as I'm getting rid of this email, idiots keep just sending me more email. It's actually not that bad. Well, you got to, yeah, definitely email me a link on that. Can we talk about Jefferson Starship? Why? Why would we ever talk about them? Oh, don't do that, Armand. Once I get it tuned in my head, I can't get it out for hours. It's a good song. But listen, it's the Mr. Big version of that song, which I think is amazing. Brian says, "Nope, Keith, please, no Jefferson Starship. Jefferson Starship Airplane." Yeah, that was a band. No matter what version of them, uh, to me, they were just awful. Yeah. Lorraine, we can't be friends anymore. I'm sorry. Or somebody starts with Jefferson Drone. One time on my when I was doing radio, when I was live on the radio on Friday nights, I played the "We Built This City," but the original version of it, written by like some folk singer or something, and it's a protest song. And then they made it into this stupid, fun, poppy song with a dumb video to it. Ruined the whole thing. Yeah, Keith, you don't strike me. You strike me as these dumb new metal band stuff, but not really. Jefferson Starship. That's the hill you want to die on. Jefferson Uber. Also, the rest not afford their names on their shirts or what? All four games, no names. No, that's that old school. Starship had its day, one day, but it's gone now, Keith. It's completely gone. And more spam. Gonna start a funk band called George Jefferson Starship. You know what? That'd be a great band. I love me some White Rabbit. And what were you? You weren't even a thought when that song came out. You were like -8 years old when that came out. But it's typo ick war today. Dirk Dingler at the plate. Hurtful. I have an old soul. Is that that's what that is? An old soul. I'm still your friend even with Jefferson Starship Keith. Yeah, that means she's a true friend. If she can get past that garbage. Like you call them dirt, right? Why do you, right? Why? What do you call them that? You think we're the only people that call him that? I think everybody calls him that. Jefferson Ironclad Ship. Then you're a better person than me, Lorraine. I think that's already a given that she's a better person than you. I mean, nothing personal, Keith. Ooh, perfect. Get this bum out. I don't even know where the time is here. I don't even know how long. Oh, there it is. I was like, "Where's my?" Okay, be that way, Keith. I'm taking my toy and getting out of the sandbox. Yeah, you can find your own Tonka truck. I will. I might not be on tomorrow. To be honest with you, I don't know. Is there a game on that? Yeah, Red Sox Tigers. Me versus Chad. It's the Patriots Day game. 11 a.m. start because of the Boston Marathon this afternoon. We're at the top of the sixth, tied 2-2. Battle of the basement. No. Tigers, I think, are in third or fourth place. Third place. And the Tigers just took the lead, 3-2. Boston is 8-13. Awful. Detroit's 12-10, though. Ray says, I don't know White Rabbit. Yeah, it's really dumb. It's just a dumb. The white pill makes you shorter. The blue pill makes you numb. Something like that. Who's on for the Tigers? Lansdale or Butler? Keith says, Lorraine, do you even Starship? It seems like a he's using it as a verb. His verbiage. Yep, pitch and change. Yeah, no kidding. Are you in your 40s, Keith? Did you live the sappy life of an 80s kid? It's Alice in Wonderland. It's dumb. It's let's write another drugs song. We'll put it in Alice in Wonderland. Sappy. We lived the rough and tumble 80s. We didn't grow up in the woods of Georgia. Keith's 50. In a row. See what you did there. Keith's an elder too, yeah. Yeah, he's also an old man. I didn't mean to put a question mark on that sentence. You can imagine how my daily typing goes. Grandpa to 2. Do I Starship? Nope, no drugs here. Exactly. And really, the only way you can listen to music like that is if you're on drugs. I don't know. Although, honestly, if you had said, hey, name 150 bands that you think I'm into, Starship wouldn't have been even close to that list. Ugh. Who's your favorite music artist, Lorraine? Have we bothered to ask? Chad says, I used to Starship and then I minor threaded. Nice. Yes, Sappy Frank, a bunch of shallow commercial stuff. Then what about Daryl Hall and John Oates? Could be worse. Keith could be Grateful Deading. Yeah, that is true. He probably not because he probably has to take a drug test for his job. So that might be the only reason. He can't. Chad built that city in rock and roll and then went ahead and questioned everything. Hole and oats all day. I know. You guys were living in rough and tumble, grit and grumble. Yeah, we were living in the big cities, fighting for our lives. Hall was insufferable, or was it Oates? I think they were both. I think both of them really were dicks. It seems like. Okay, Keith, you get a pass. Hall had most of the talent, still does. Yeah, that's why Oates is like, yeah, I just want to cash in and just, I just want the money now. And Hall's like, no, 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 we have a legacy here, blah, blah, blah. You people calm down. Yeah, but the other guy and that mustache. Well, you mean, yeah, I think that's, listen, Daryl Hall had the talent, right? John, he had that mustache and guitar, like a caterpillar nest on his lip. Yeah. Good stuff. I do like the sentiment of nothing's going to stop us now. So I'll give you that, Keith. Sappy. Do I get street cred for having Alice Cooper 8-track? Charlie says, who are we talking about? Charlie's just totally confused on this one. Frank might give you a pass on that, Keith, because he is an Alice Cooper fan. I am not an Alice Cooper fan. So for me, no. I'm bringing the soul patch back for the 20s. Nice. I'm waiting for the mailman. He's supposed to be bringing me my YouTube, my pin number, so I can get paid. I'm averaging about $8 a day right now. So keep watching those ads. REM, nothing but thieves. Chad, are you flexing on 8-track ownership? You dig further, Charlie. So much to discover. Yeah. Yeah, we can't repeat all of these great things. I mean, there's so much phenomenal conversation here, Charlie. It'd take us weeks to catch you up. A-Track is no longer with us, I'm sorry to say. I mean, I did have a small collection alongside my vinyl. Charlie says, what is Alice Cooper's best album to start with? Ryan says, anything moody. You know the best Alice Cooper album is? None of them. Throw them in the garbage. Mom did not take care of it while I sowed my wild oats. My first 8-track was Kiss Double Platinum. That's a tough question, Charlie. Maybe check out Love It to Death. Charlie says, okay, I'll check it out. I can't claim I ever owned an 8-track. You're still so young. But, excuse me. That was awful. Charlie says, I love Double Platinum. Frankly, I don't even think my parents had one. Wow. Double platinum. My mother bought it for me from Bradley's. Anybody knows Bradley's? And because my mother liked three of their songs, and I had no idea who they were. It was just something, and I had a what was the name of that? It was a little robot that you put in 8 tracks and you played games. What the heck the name of that thing was? And I remember playing double platinum on it and not knowing the makeup, not knowing anything, just the music. Because I remember riding with my uncle Ricky in an 8-track player installed, and a song came on. He said, "Want to hear that one again?" And we circled the block because no rewind. Yeah. Remember my babysitter of an 8-track player, and we play that "What's I'm Out of You" song on it. Classic. Lorraine doesn't have a favorite. Troy says, my parents had lots of 8-tracks when I was growing up. Oh, wasn't that a Radio Shack thing? I remember I had an 8-track comp that came out called Star 80. It had all the hits from 1980, like Blondie and Gary Newman. I don't know if it was a Radio Shack thing. It was, wait, I think I got it. Let me check. That's it. 2XL. Mego 2XL Talking Robot 8-track. I had that thing. You could still buy it for like $30 on eBay. It was the first smart toy. 2XL robot, 2XL robot, 2XL toy. It's an educational toy robot that was marketed from 1978 to 1981. It was the first smart toy that exhibited rudimentary intelligence, memory, gameplay, and responsiveness. It was a fuse of a personality that kept kids focused and challenged as they interacted with the verbal robot. Learning was enhanced via the use of jokes and funny sayings as verbal reinforcements for performance. That's what we had. We had one of these, 2XL. But it was also just an 8-track player. When we were done playing all the dumb games. Classic. They probably had a lot of tapes for it. Ryan says, my taste in books is a lot more eclectic than my taste in music. 3-3. He says, times were simpler back then. Frank says, the original Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah. Did any of you like any soundtracks that came out in the 80s and 80s? Both the 80s and the 80s. I remember I used to spin A Star Is Born and Saturday Night Fever. Both still hold up. Yep, tie ball game. Chad, Never Ending Story. My mom would play Saturday Night Fever, yeah, all the time. And the Neil Diamond movie, that one. Coming to America or something. I second Never Ending Story soundtrack. Matthew in the house, good afternoon to you, sir. 70s or 80s. Again, I grew up in a house. My mother was a homemaker. And so she played music all freaking day. But my mother's also had me when she was 18. So growing up in the 70s, my mother was in her 20s. And so she would listen to she would listen to Z100 and PLJ. She would listen to all the top 40 radio stuff. She just loved all that stuff. And then, like, Queen and whatever, all of the stuff that you grow up on. Yeah, so my mother had like a Deep Purple album in her collection, the first Black Sabbath album in her collection. You know, my mom was a big fan of Journey and Foreigner and all those bands. So I hated all. Yeah, the Jazz Singer. I think that was the. I think that was the album. Which I wish I could remember more about that time. Lorraine did a ton of drugs back then. No, just kidding. My mom played Yanni. Did I spell that right? I think it was close. It's Keith. It's Yanni. Close enough. I think it was the law, except for Jersey, for moms to own the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Yeah. Now my mother played that thing like crazy. My mom was a big Bee Gees fan. She also played the Blues Brothers soundtrack a lot as well. She's a big Blues Brothers fan. I was raised on CCR, Mamas and Papas, and the Commodores. Yep, I had a lot of that in my house as well. Lorraine was too busy starshipping. Lorraine says yes to Saturday Night Fever. Frank says, I grew up in the neighborhood of Brooklyn Saturday Night Fever was filmed in. And basically it was your life. Basically, it was Frank Edler growing up. The writer was like, who's that super cool kid walking with that great suit carrying a paint can? Let's write a movie. Whereas I'm still addicted to Barry Gibb. Frank says, like, basically grew up in Saturday Night Fever. Yeah. To you, it was just Fever. Love me some Bee Gees, Chad says. Chad has some crazy taste in music. I love it. Love it. You can never tell. Saturday Night Fever looks exactly how I remembered the 70s. Yeah. Chad, you're one of the kids from that movie Green Room that you told me about that I watched. They're like, what are your favorite bands of one island record band that if you could only listen to one band, you're on an island, and they're like, oh, Minor Threat and the Misfits, and they're naming like all these Slayer and stuff, and then at some point the girl's like, really, Madonna? That'd be you'd be like Minor Threat, and then The Accused, and then all of a sudden it would be like the Bee Gees. My mother was also a huge Barry Manilow fan, so I know all of the Barry Manilow songs. For Frank, it was just another Saturday night. Yeah, there was no fever. You can't get a fever every Saturday night. I mean, you might really get hurt. Oh yeah, I forgot about Jazz Singer. Yeah. Yeah, lots of Neil Diamond in my house. My mother also grew up on she was born in South Carolina. She grew up on old school country. So you had a lot of Patsy Cline, you had a lot of stuff like that in the house all the time. And then Janis Joplin, she was a huge Janis Joplin fan. Huge Elvis fan, huge Beatles fan. Probably why I don't like Elvis and the Beatles, because you played them so much. Whereas I still love the Mamas and Papas, thanks to my mom. Clerks is how I remember the 90s, stoned and all in black and white. Matthew says, being raised in West Virginia, I get sick of a lot of country. Yeah, I would imagine. My mother also was a big Kenny Rogers fan. A lot of Kenny Rogers, a lot of Dolly Parton, stuff like that. Maybe I need to experience this starshipping thing Chad's talking about. I don't think you should, Lorraine. Lorraine, please don't. Maybe I missed something in their music. It was very shallow. I'm gonna tell you a band that I was never a huge fan of. I like those two or three songs from the '70s, which I really don't like a ton of stuff from the '70s. Was Heart. Like all their '80s stuff was just poppy drivel. If you haven't Starship by now, Lorraine, don't start. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Charlie says don't do it. There's a song that people seem to enjoy that has nothing to do with West Virginia at all, yet it seems to be the theme song on that country roads. None of what the song is in West Virginia at all. People don't know. And I'll be honest with you, people in West Virginia don't know either. Nobody knows. Next, Armin, this is Fleetwood Mac. Not a fan. Again, handful of good songs. Overall, as a whole, I'm not into this. I was never into '70s bands. Okay, even as a kid, I didn't like any of it. Poppy Drivel, Pappy Van Winkle. A band I hated until about 11 years ago and love now is Steely Dan. Ugh. No, that's another band was not a fan of. I agree with Armin when it comes to Fleetwood Mac. Nobody had better diss Fleetwood Mac. Listen, they had a handful of good songs, but not enough that I would consider myself a fan or like. Let me tell you what I did. Here's my hot take. Armand's opinion. Stevie Nicks has an awful voice. To me. There you go. So you hated Pink Floyd? Yeah, because I never did drugs. Pink Floyd, The Doors, Grateful Dead. If you like those bands and you were sober, you're a moron. Nothing personal. Bad Company. How can you hate Pink Floyd? They're boring. They are just simply boring. Chet says you're out of your mind, Frank. I agree with Frank. Bad Company is better than Steely Dan. I agree with that too. And I'm not a huge Bad Company fan either. Steely Dan is just awful. Her cousin, my wife's cousin Donna, her husband Keith is a huge Steely Dan fan. Like that's his band. And anytime we have a family thing, he's like, "Have you listened to Steely Dan?" I'm like, "No, I hate them." He's like, "Oh, I told you a couple of songs to listen." I'm like, "They're awful." No. I'm always like, "Have you listened to Cannibal Corpse?" I told you a couple of Cannibal Corpse, Hammer Smash Face. Yeah, have you listened to that yet? No? Well, then don't bother me. Bad Company, well, sexy stuff. I remind you, Black Sabbath hit in the '70s. And I will remind you, I started listening to Black Sabbath when Dio was in the band. So there. I'm not a huge fan of Ozzy Sabbath stuff. There's songs. Again, like every other band, there's a handful of really, really good songs. Children of the Grave, great song. But I'm more of a Mob Rules, Heaven and I'm more of a Dio and Beyond Sabbath fan. So nice try, Keith. And Foreigner, whoa. Foreigner was one of those bands that I listened to when I first started listening to music, like Jay Giles Band, Foreigner, Joan Jett, Robert Plant, his solo stuff. Those were the. Then when I was 12 years old, Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, and it was over for me. And again, all of those bands, the Moody Blues, all those bands, my mother listened to, and I just was not interested. I'd come home and I'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to live. Why is she listening to this garbage while she's vacuuming or something?" With the Bad Company love over Steely Dan, we can tell who's not the musicians in the room. Charlie says, "Hey, I play sax. Yeah, I play the bone flute." Ray says, "Okay, so let me amend my criteria. I like moody and sexy songs. Sexy voices, not songs." Keith says, "It was a nice try." Robert Plant soul stuff. What do you think of Led Zeppelin? Again, Growing up, I did not like Led Zeppelin because my mother listened to Led Zeppelin. But I had my buddy Russ, Madman, who was a huge Zeppelin fan and would play it all the time. So I appreciate I appreciate all the songs that they stole from the Black Blues players. But I was never a huge Zeppelin fan. I mean, obviously, I know probably out of any of those 70s bands, that might be my favorite one because I like more of their songs. And I also got to see Robert Plant with Cheap Trick opening. Me and Russ, we went to the Madison Square Garden. Robert Plant, and it was the first tour he was doing Zeppelin songs. So he did a whole encore of Zeppelin songs, which was awesome. And Cheap Trick is one of my favorite bands. Again, a 70s band, really, but I liked them. I think, you know why I like Cheap Trick? Because my mother didn't listen to them. Pink Floyd is for background music. Pink Floyd is for getting high and realizing that you got to go back to your shitty job in the morning. I can't believe the close-mindedness emanating from this room with the Floyd and Steely while you're over there cranking Great White and Tiger Tails. You know, it is what it is. We all like different things, and that's fine. You ask me a question, I'm gonna tell you I don't like them. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. Love Plant Soul stuff. Robert Plant has some really good. His first 3 solo albums were just friggin' amazing. Lorraine definitely likes that Chris Isaac song. Oh yeah, that whining Chris Isaac song. Yep. Get him, Chad. Here comes the Queen hater. No, I like Queen. I actually that's another band that I like most of their stuff, even their 70s stuff. Charlie says Zeppelin is definitely one of my favorite bands. Yes, that one and only Chris Isaac hit. Had it on repeat back then. Only one. That dude had hundreds of hits. No, he probably had that one. Frank says, I got no hate for Queen. We could be friends, Frank, just so you know. Armin is the first person I've ever met who hates the music their parents listen to instead of being turned onto it. Yeah, because I didn't want to listen to the same crap my mother listened to. Everybody else's mom in when I grew up was older, and they all listened to garbage stuff. Now, see, I'll still listen to the '60s doo wop. Like my wife loves that stuff, and I know all the Motown songs. All that I love that stuff, and my mother listened to that stuff all the time. So I've not really had a want or need to listen to many music from the past. I'll make playlists, but then never listen to them. It's always the same playlist using writing one song on repeat. Nights in White Satin, also sexy on replay. How can you not love the Bicycle song? It's a good song. I want to ride my bicycle. I think he sings it a little better than me. Frank says I can live without Led Zeppelin. Yeah, it's not something I'm ever going to like, oh, let me go put on some Led Zeppelin. On replay, saying it twice might get a comment from Frank. Trey says, I don't care much for the Bicycle song, but mostly like Queen. Frank says, I love New Edition. Who doesn't? Queen is my wife's favorite band. Your mom had great taste. Yeah, I mean, she still does. She still listens to a lot of that stuff. Although my mother also is a huge Garth Brooks fan. I'm like, no, this is ridiculous. No. And my mother listened to Top 40 radio. My mother was like, so like anytime like a Diana Ross or Dinah Summer, any of those, I know every word to every one of those songs because of my mother. Now my dad never listened to music. For instance, which song on replay? The Bicycle song. My dad had AM radio in his car forever, and that's all he wanted. My mother would drive my mother nuts. She'd be like, I don't want to listen to sports talk radio. I don't want to listen to 1010 wins over and over. You're listening to 1010 wins. The time is now 8:57. My wife's favorite band is the Goo Goo Dolls. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yes, it is. And you and her have seen them what about 1,008 times? Ah, the Goo Goo Dolls. Are they still putting music out? And is she still listening to that, or is she like, yeah, I haven't listened to that. I haven't listened to anything new since whatever. Yeah, I'm still a fan, but I after whatever hit it was, kind of like Matchbox 20. You know, you get to a point with a band like that, and you're like, I don't want new music from them. My mom is a dyed in the wool Beatles fan, and my dad turned me on to Glenn Campbell. Replay of Nights in White Satin. It tricked me into agreeing to a marriage proposal years and years ago. Not my husband, obviously. Wow. Sabbath reached their first record on my birthday in 1970. So it was Kismet, as the kids say. Yeah, I mean, you got it. You have to, then you have to like it. I have seen the Goos quite a bit. Tries to not a Beatles fan. Yeah, they still put albums out. Oh, okay. Maybe not obviously. Have you ever heard the first Goo Goos record they released on Death Records? Way different. Now you're gonna start sounding like Tommy Clark, who always has to talk about like he's the only person who knew them back in their punk days. Nights in White Satin was our song with one of our exes. So lame. My wedding song for the second ex-wife was "Love of a Lifetime" by Firehouse. Now I just can't ever hear that. What are we doing here? What's going on here? I'm not watching the game. I'm watching the live. We got bases loaded. Chad, what's happening here at this game? The first marriage song was like Edwin McCain or something like that. Lullaby. Sadly, I don't. The third one was is some '60s song that I don't know which one it is. My wife always asks me, and I feel awful. I just it's like a mental block in my head. Can't remember the damn song. Was engaged to that girl, and our wedding song was supposed to be that Shania Twain song. So glad we never got married. Yeah, and then that would follow you for the rest of your life. People would be like, "Oh, there's the guy who likes Shania Twain." You're like, "I didn't like them. She picked it." Sometimes you just gotta, have a Shania Twain song in your life, though. I mean that's kind of a rule. Chad said, never had a song with a girl before. Tried asking one once if we could have the Cure's "One More Time" be our song, and they were like, "No thanks." Then I asked the next chick, and she was like, "Pass." I think it was like the wedding song of that moment. Man, I feel like a woman song. Probably. Don't even remember the title now. You guys do the dent, and you guys do the dance down the aisle. Then you lip sync to each other. Man, I feel like a woman. You point at each other. What's happening here? What's happening? It's like people are running around the field. This thing's not updating now, Chad. What's the score? They had bases loaded, and now it looks like a guy in second. What's happening? Oh, they did score. Almost as bad as Olivia Newton-John's "I Honestly Love You." Laurie says, "No way." Oh, that was a tearjerker. That song. She put everything into that. So I probably will not be on tomorrow, but I will be on Wednesday. Forgot what day it was today. I will be on Wednesday. Wednesday, everybody, is Earth Day. So I don't know what we're supposed to do for Earth Day. I don't remember. Don't litter or something. I honestly love you as pure sap. Yes, it is. My video review of Permafrost came out this morning, and so far it's gotten 25 views. That's pretty good for me for the first day. Where is it located? It's on YouTube? Is it on Substack? 5-3 Red Sox. You'll be here. You kidding? I mean, you're probably right. I mean, don't be surprised if I am on tomorrow, but hug trees for Earth Day. Okay, I knew it was something like that. I'll definitely watch that review soon. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Written review will be on Substack tomorrow. Okay. Even if it's a bad review, I appreciate you reviewing it. Hopefully, it's not a bad review. I was there at the start, Charlie. I will watch it as soon as in about another 3-4 minutes. This will be over. And then I will jump over there before I take my nap. I'll probably do a little reading, a little light reading beforehand. Little light reading. Actually, it's 6-3 now. Actually, I'll probably finish watching this game. Then I will some light reading and a nap. Then I got to do this Jilly is Not Happy book review. Spoiler alert, I enjoyed it. Excuse me. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for watching live, hanging out with me in the chat. We had a lot of fun today. We learned a lot about one another, good and bad, let's be honest. But and everybody who watches this later on, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you watching through the commercials. I appreciate you just being here. Like, follow, subscribe, as the young kids say. The wife is home. Going to go finish the game with her. Maybe write some songs for the new George Jefferson Starship record. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Chad. See everybody tomorrow. I am out of here in about 30 seconds. I got 30 seconds to go, and then I will say goodbye. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, save them for Wednesday. Or probably tomorrow when I'm on. Who knows? See everyone tomorrow. Charlie, I just said I probably won't be on. I'll be on tomorrow. Cheers, everyone. Adieu. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Look forward to a song or two from that. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. Thank you.